Welcome to Found Under the Stars. I'm Sandy Therrien, your host, and I'm the founder of Blue Moon Space Operations, a small startup that will capture orbital debris and relocate it and recycle it on orbit. Orbital debris, also known as space junk, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. This is episode 1 of a very new Substack and set of videos where I'm going to tell stories that include my lifelong journey. So things from childhood to where we are today. And I might be occasionally have a co-host, Little the Cat. Her official name is Her Royal Majesty Little the Cat. And she definitely is a big part of my life and my journey. She's 17 and a half years old and an unexpected co-host today. So I was inspired to do these videos after the Dual Tech Summit in San Francisco that I attended just earlier this week. I met a lot of people. I told a lot of stories. I gave a pitch and I was on a panel. And one thing that I got a lot of feedback on was the fact that people loved that I started my pitch with a personal story. And I got some correspondence after the summit and a suggestion that I start a Substack to just share days in the life of my founder's journey. But I wanted to expand on that and just include all kinds of stories, not just lessons learned, but also personal stories of my journey and how I got here. So I thought that I would share the story that I opened with in my pitch, but in a little more depth, because I only had 3 minutes to give that pitch, and so it was very truncated. But it's the story of how I fell in love with space. So my dad was a career enlisted Marine, and I grew up in 29 Palms, California during the 70s and early 80s. And being enlisted and, having a house outside of town, we didn't have a lot of money. So we didn't have air conditioning. And in the summertime, in 29 Palms and places in other desert locations, sometimes it gets really hot at night during the summers. And it's too hot to sleep in the house. So my brother and I would sleep on the roof. And that meant that we had the entire universe before us all night long. I got to learn the planets and the stars and their movements and meteor showers. The Perseid meteor shower that occurs every August, we got to see that firsthand. Because, when you sleep outdoors like you're camping out, you do wake up in the middle of the night occasionally. And we got to see all kinds of neat things. And back in the late 70s, there weren't that many satellites in the sky. So it was especially thrilling to see one. In fact, we often speculated that it was really a UFO, because UFOs are really big back then, that whole culture, especially out there in the desert. So that's how I fell in love with space, just observing it all night long. And I've carried that through my life. I always make time for stargazing. I've been known to drag friends out to dark locations in the middle of the night, which sounds scary, but that's the best way to see an astronomical event. I do own 2 telescopes. One of them is still being assembled, but they're both 5-inch Newtonians, just with different missions. I like to look at planets and local phenomenon rather than things way out that we have no chance of ever getting to. So that's how I fell in love with space. And I'm always looking up. I'm always the person, encouraging people to go outside and look at Venus and the moon together, especially this time of year. So that's it. That's episode 1 of this brand new video podcast, webcast, I don't know, Substack. We'll see where this goes, but I just wanted to share that story with you because I think it's a good one and it sort of sets the foundation. So let me leave you with just a little bit of stardust. Think back to when you were a kid, 7, 8, 9 years old, and what excited you? What turned you on? What was your passion? What made you giggle and get that energy inside, made your heart light shine? Try to remember that, because that can be your guiding light for the rest of your life. It turned out to be mine, and I didn't even realize it. So that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and if you get a chance, pop over to my company website, bluemoonspaceops.com, and check out what we're doing. And please tune in next time. I'd love to see you, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you.